A Virginia city has cut off the ATF from accessing one of the city's law enforcement tools, though not for the reason you'd think. Though either way, it's not being covered outside of local media and is a good example of a local government standing up to the ATF. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel with a small story that only has two little local news releases on it, but could have some pretty big implications. The Richmond, Virginia Police Department has revoked the ATF's access to its license plate readers, but not as some Second Amendment stand because it is Richmond, Virginia, or because the ATF is generally a corrupt organization. No, the cops cut off the ATF because they found the agency was going behind their backs and using their license plate readers for immigration enforcement in connection with ICE. But before I get into all of that, I would like to shout out a friend of this channel, and that is Ammo Squared, an automated ammo subscription model that makes sure that you have ammo when you want it. Unlike traditional subscription services, you are not forced into a set budget or monthly shipments. You simply pick your calibers, how much or how little you're looking to spend each month, and pick a shipping trigger. All ammo is factory new from brands that you trust and stored in a climate-controlled environment until you are ready to have it shipped straight to your door and discreetly. They have over 70 calibers to choose from, no minimum to buy, and no extra fees. All orders are shipped out in 1 to 2 business days, and all orders of $250 or more are shipped completely free. So thank you to Ammo Squared for being a friend to this channel. Now back to our story. Apparently, an ATF analyst requested access to the license plate reader program in February to assist our agents and task force officers with investigations in and around Richmond. At the time, the ATF was not involved in immigration enforcement and the request was granted, though police are now saying that that access never should have been given, goes against their rules, and they don't know why the request even got through, as the supervisor who allowed the ATF into the system is no longer with the department. In March, the ATF was assigned to help with immigration. Then, in June, the third-party vendor of the license plate readers informed a police administrator that 2 recent searches from said ATF analyst accessed Illinois vehicle data with ICE in the query field, which is a violation of Illinois law. So now we have an analyst who was given access when they shouldn't have been given access, and they're looking up people from other states with the Virginia system. So the police did a deep dive and found this analyst had searched for 49 different license plates in the last couple of months, getting over 400 results, at least a quarter of them related to a specific incident of 4 detainees escaping an ICE facility. More than half of the searches did turn out to be consistent with the ATF investigating firearm offenses, but the rest were connected to Homeland Security and immigration, most of them being in a 10-day period from March to April. Upon finding out that their system was being used for immigration enforcement and to access other states, the police immediately terminated the ATF's access to the system. And I mean within like 5 minutes of finding this out. Now, earlier this year, DHS accused Richmond of obstructing ICE operations, so this tracks. Now the police have announced that the ATF will no longer have any access to their systems. The city has no problem with violating Second Amendment rights or any of the other corrupt things the ATF does, but when it comes to immigration, that, my friends, is where they're putting their foot down. In a statement on the matter, the Richmond police said that they don't enforce immigration law, do not investigate immigration, and so wouldn't be cooperating with the ATF on these matters or allowing the ATF to use the city's tools to do it. The ATF, meanwhile, says that they were mostly doing it to investigate gun trafficking. Says Special Agent in Charge Anthony Spotswood, our ATF analyst accessed RPD's system in support of ATF's overall mission, and although all the queries involved criminal activity, they were not in compliance with RPD's guidelines. While our investigative analysts support both criminal and immigration-related efforts, the majority of these searches were directly tied to local investigations involving gun trafficking, violent offenders, and fraudulent firearms purchases. In one instance, a potential residency violation may have prompted the use of ICE in a search field, but all queries were related to criminal activity, not civil immigration enforcement. I suppose at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter why they were doing it, just the fact that they were doing it. Regardless of one's views on immigration and ICE and all of that going on, I think the big red flag here is that federal agencies had access to this information in the first place that they supposedly weren't supposed to have access to. As of July 1st, there is a new law in place in Virginia so that the Virginia system doesn't have connections to data in other states, and that system cannot be used to access data from other states. But that new rule only applies to state agencies and not the feds. So in having access to this system, the FedBoy analyst had access to all of that data across the country to go fishing for gun owners. Sure, if they got warrants and whatnot, they can get that information. Anyway, we all know that it's out there, but there's a difference between making them have probable cause versus handing them the keys. And it's not like the ATF is known for restraint. There are actually 15 states right now that have passed laws allowing sheriffs to take a stand against federal gun law enforcement. Some have even flat out banned sheriffs and other state employees from cooperating with the ATF in some forms. But if the ATF can go a roundabout way and, say, get access to state data, unwarranted and without permission through systems in other states, that's pretty concerning and something that needs to be fixed. Either way, as I said in the opener, it's a good example of local community government standing up to alphabet agencies. The ATF has agreed to give more info on the searches to the Richmond police to show exactly how they were using the system. But, says Chief Edwards, we remain committed to working with our federal partners on the investigation and prosecution of violent crime, but moving forward, no federal agencies will have access to our license plate reader program. This tool is vital to solving serious crimes in our city, and we will ensure it is used lawfully, responsibly, and in alignment with Richmond's values. So really, at the end of the day, regardless of the reason, I applaud them for giving the finger to the ATF. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. You guys know the drill for all of the algorithm things. Please do them, and as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and happy shooting.